What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Doctor Who review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 11th Doctor Matt Smith story, Asylum of the Daleks. This is episode 1 of series 7 of the new series, Matt Smith's final full series. And it's one that I think has a little bit of controversy to it. There's some people I know that do quite enjoy Asylum of the Daleks, but then there's also a lot of other people that really don't like this story for multiple reasons. I mean, if you've seen any of my ranking videos or anything in the past, you'll know where I generally sit on this, but, you know, we'll get into this review and you'll be able to see what things I like, what things I don't like about Asylum of the Daleks. So anyway, this is Asylum of the Daleks, and let's start with the cast. Alright, so let's start with Matt Smith as the 11th Doctor. Matt Smith is pretty good in this story. There's not a whole lot to say about him. I think he has some good little moments. He has some silly moments, like, you know, when he's like, oh, I'm playing the triangle. I don't really know. You know, when we have the music from Oswin playing for the first time, he's like, oh look, it's me playing the triangle. And I don't know, it just seems a bit weird. Like, was he trying to cover up what the music actually was, or was he just trying to be funny, or it just felt a little bit off? I don't know. But generally, other than that, pretty good throughout this story. Has some great moments with Amy. I love the moments with Oswin, you know, especially when he's making his way to Oswin at the end, and when he finds out that she is actually a Dalek. Such great acting by Matt Smith, and just all round really, really good stuff. So yeah, he's pretty good in this one. I wouldn't say it's anything absolutely outstanding, but definitely a good performance from him. Karen Gillan as Amy Pond is pretty good in this. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of either of the companions in this story, because of the subplot of them getting divorced, which we will get into later. Yeah, because of that, both the characters just kind of irritate me a little bit, but I don't know, she's fine. Same kind of goes for Arthur Darvill, in my opinion. I think I do actually prefer him a little bit more in this story, because I love the bits, you know, the bit where he's in the asylum with all the broken Daleks. I absolutely love that scene. It's possibly my favourite scene of the episode. I just think it's a really exciting, really cool, just the look, the direction of the scene is really, really awesome, and I just love the atmosphere and everything. Other than that though, both companions, yeah, they're okay, I suppose. Alright, so let's get on to the good and the bad, starting with the good. The Daleks capturing the Doctor to save themselves. So basically the premise of the story is that there's a planet where there are basically a bunch of faulty Daleks, the Daleks that went wrong, experiments, you know, or Daleks that have been through wars and kind of gone crazy. And the Daleks don't think that these, you know, the Daleks, they're not pure, they're too dangerous for the Daleks now, so they basically stick them on this planet to die, really. They can't get off the planet, nothing else can supposedly get on the planet, however it turns out that has happened. But yeah, it's basically a planet full of crazy Daleks, but then we find out that the Alaska spaceship has crashed on this planet, which proves that things can get onto the planet, meaning that the Daleks can also get off the planet. There's a risk of that happening. The Daleks don't want that to happen, so they need to blow up the planet. The planet's got a force field on it. They need to go onto the planet to get rid of the force field. The Daleks themselves are too cowardly to do that, so they decide to send the Doctor and his companions down there. And I just think it's a bit of a wacky, weird plot, but I don't mind it. I mean, it's a bit weird, the Daleks somewhat teaming up with the Doctor, but they're not really teaming up with him, because their plan is to send him down there, for him to turn the force fields off, and they'll blow up the planet with him on it. Of course, that's not how it works, and if they thought that was how it was going to work, they're a bit stupid. But yeah, I do generally like the plot. Rory in the asylum with all the broken Daleks. Like I mentioned before, this is probably my favourite scene of the whole episode. I just love the atmosphere, the way it's shot and everything. It looks so dark and grim, and it just really looks good. And the Daleks going eggs, eggs, eggs. And because Rory hasn't actually met, well no, he has met a Dalek before, at the end of the Big Bang, but he hasn't kind of had the full experience of the Daleks. And this Dalek's just saying eggs, and Rory's like, grabs one of the balls from the floor off the Dalek's skirt, and he's like, "Is this what you want? Are these eggs?" And then it goes exterminate, and he's like, "Oh, right." And just that moment, he drops the ball, and it's just, I just love that whole scene. It's such an awesome scene. Amy hallucinating the Daleks as people, I thought was pretty cool. So basically they have to wear these wristbands because there's some kind of field there that pretty much turns people into those horrible Dalek people with the eye stalks coming out of their heads. We'll talk more about them in a minute. Basically, it turns people into those, and without this wristwatch kind of band thing on, they will also get turned into that. Amy gets hers ripped off by one of the other Dalek people, and she slowly starts kind of hallucinating, having things go wrong with her. And yeah, she basically there's all these Daleks in this room, and she hallucinates them as a bunch of people like dancing. I think it's just, once again, it's a really well shot scene, and generally this whole episode is very well shot. It looks really cool. I mean, series 7 as a whole looks pretty damn good. But yeah, there's just other issues there. Finally, for the good, Oswin is a Dalek. It was a big revelation. Now that I know about it, you know, you can see little hints here and there throughout the episode hinting at it, which is cool to see. But I just really think that whole moment is amazing, where the Doctor finds her, turns out she's a Dalek, and she's just absolutely distraught by it, because she thinks that she's been alive, just hiding away this whole time, but no, she got defeated, she just can't remember, and she's actually a Dalek. It's really heartbreaking. So on to the bad. There are a few things to talk about here. First of all, Amy and Rory's divorce is so unnecessary. Now, I know that it was kind of there, I think, because of the whole, you know, before they go to teleport, the Doctor's like, try and, you know, the Daleks extract love and inject hate to make you into a Dalek. So he's basically saying to Amy, you've got to, you know, keep that love inside you, trying to get her to love Rory again. And that's kind of the whole thing with the divorce. You know, that's why they've put it in here, because they've got this kind of subplot point going on. But it's not enough for me. It just feels, first of all, way too random. I mean, Amy and Rory were the most lovey-dovey couple. Just, they were just like two peas in a pod. I know you kind of had the Doctor as a third wheel, but they were two peas in a pod. And then all of a sudden they get divorced over the break between the last episode and this one, and then at the end they're back together again. It's so unnecessary. It's just so stupid. That whole first scene I really hate, you know, where Amy's now got some company where she's getting photo shoots and stuff, and Rory's also there, and they're just acting like this old married couple, but now they're not married anymore, and the whole atmosphere I just really don't like, and the whole divorce thing is so stupid in my opinion. I really don't like the people with Dalek eye stalks coming out of their heads. This is kind of I believe the first introduction of those, and I really do hate them. First things first, they just look stupid, I think. A person with a Dalek eye stalk just coming out of their head, I think it just looks stupid. Also, you've got the fact of the Daleks hate impurity. They need to be pure. These Dalek humans, in my opinion, they're not pure. They're not Daleks. This was like back in Series 3, where they made the human Dalek. That was a bit of an experiment. They didn't like it. They ended up killing it and stopping it. Here, they've got these Dalek kind of drone people, but they're not Daleks. They're not proper Daleks. I don't care how Dalek they are. They're not proper Daleks. And it's just not a Dalek thing, in my opinion. I really don't like them, and I just think they look stupid, and they just don't really make sense with the Daleks. The other thing is, I'm not a big fan of the Daleks forgetting the Doctor. Ultimately, I think it was pretty cool that Clara did it, and in the moment it was pretty cool, but it's a little bit kind of like, especially when you consider that when the Doctor next sees the Daleks, I'm pretty sure they remember him, and it ultimately doesn't really or at least at some point the Daleks are back to remembering the Doctor again. It's not that far down the line. I mean, next time we see them I'm pretty sure the next time we see the Daleks is in Time of the Doctor, not Time of the Doctor. No, it would be, Day of the Doctor. You can understand why they remember him there, because it's from the Time War, but then in Time of the Doctor, they remember him again, I'm pretty certain, because, you know, they want to get rid of they want to kill him once and for all, so they remember him, and it just seems like a bit of a waste of time. So, quite a bit of rambling on the bad stuff there, and although I pretty much have the same amount of good points as I do bad points, I think the fact that I've rambled so much on the bad points kind of shows how I think about this episode. So a rating out of 10 for Asylum of the Daleks, I'm going to give it a 4.5. I was thinking about a 4, but some of the things in this episode I do quite enjoy. However, as a Dalek episode, I don't think it's that great. as a general episode, I don't think it's that great. Has a lot of issues with it, has a lot of good stuff too, but the issues unfortunately do outweigh the good parts. So yeah, a 4.5 out of 10 is what I'm going to give Asylum of the Daleks. So let's move over to see what episode we're going to be reviewing next time. Okay, so we've got the TARDIS full of episodes from Series 1 all the way to the end of Series 10. So those are the ones we haven't reviewed yet. We've reviewed all of Series 11 and 12. So we're going to mix this up. If we pick out another Matt Smith story, I'm going to redraw it. It has to be not a Matt Smith story, so I'm going to do it like this so I can't see. I'm hoping for a 9th or a 10th Doctor, because we've done less of those than we have like the 12th Doctor. So I've got one right here, whatever this is going to be. So our next review is... okay, it's Face the Raven. So we've got another 12th Doctor one. We seem to be pulling out all the 11th Doctor and 12th Doctor ones, but that's fine. Hopefully next time we'll get something different. At least when we eventually get through them, we're going to have more and more 9th and 10th. So Face the Raven. Clara's technical exit episode, or what should have been her exit episode anyway. So yeah, looking forward to reviewing this one. So Face the Raven will be the next new series review on the channel in a few weeks' time. So anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.